Hi, I'm Dr. Greg Castello, board certified family practice with CastelloWellness.com, and today we're going to talk about protein versus carbohydrates for athletic performance, weightlifting, and endurance. Everybody I hear that talks about it is protein loading or protein supplementing, with the notion that protein in your diet turns into protein or muscle in your body, and I don't think that's actually necessarily the case. I use the lion versus the gazelle argument that there's lions and gazelles, and they're both very athletic animals, and their diet is completely opposite. A lion eats gazelles, and he's on a high-protein, almost Atkins diet with no carbohydrates. A gazelle eats the exact opposite diet. He eats grasses and brush, and his diet is almost completely complex carbohydrates. I looked up what the nutrient content of grass that gazelles eat, and they eat over 80 different types of grasses, but it's anywhere between 4.5% and 8% protein. So they're on an 80+ percentage carbohydrate diet, and I would argue that they're better athletes than the lion. They're definitely leaner than the lion. They're faster than the lion unless they're sick. They have more endurance than the lion does as well on a high carbohydrate diet. I did test this theory. I was able to do it for about a week before I couldn't do it anymore, but I actually felt pretty good on the diet. The catch is that it has to be complex carbohydrates, so not bread, rice, pasta, potatoes. So everybody that eats high carb diets are eating the wrong carbs. I went out and I got whole grain wheat and barley and oat bran and cornmeal and flaxseed and wheat germ and spinach, and I basically made bran muffins that were high carbohydrate, low protein. I did not eat any meat or milk. I did not eat any nuts or seeds because they have too much protein and fat in them, and I was on an 80+% carbohydrate diet. I didn't have hypoglycemia or shaky or weakness. I actually, unfortunately, in my case, I lost a couple of pounds because I just could not consume enough calories in this diet because it's not very palatable, and I was full all the time from the high fiber, so no matter what I did, I didn't ingest enough calories, and I lost weight, so I actually stopped. The only time I actually felt bad on the diet was I cheated and I had a pancake once, and I said, well, that's flour and sugar, so it's technically carbohydrates, it's just not complex carbs. I actually was shaky and dizzy about an hour later. That was the only time I was hungry, was after eating simple carbs. I had Italian bread a second time, and same thing, shaky and dizzy, but eating literally whole wheat bread and bran and barley and cornmeal and oats, I was not shaky, dizzy, lightheaded, weak, tired, or any effects that I would normally attribute to carbohydrates. The catch and the problem is, again, that you have to eat quality carbohydrates. You cannot eat what almost every carbohydrate is a poor quality carbohydrate. Vegetables are good, but they're very low in calories, so you couldn't eat enough beans or green beans to survive at 35 calories a can. I did increase my protein and fat after that and went back to normal and regained the weight. So a couple of interesting studies done recently. One of them looked at carbohydrate pre-exercise versus protein pre-exercise. It turns out that if you eat protein pre-exercise, you actually may burn more calories through the next 24 hours. So if you're trying to lose weight with exercise, taking carbs before exercise is probably not the right answer. Another interesting study, they looked at that when you exercise and take complex carbohydrates before exercise, your testosterone level actually goes up. If you take protein before exercise, your testosterone level goes down. So that may be, for the bodybuilder, actually a pre-workout carbohydrate drink as a benefit. Post-workout, there's some information that insulin is like growth hormone. In fact, it's called insulin-like growth factor. Some bodybuilders will take simple carbohydrates or even take insulin shots with exercise to induce a growth hormone-like chemical. This goes a little bit beyond it, but you don't have to eat protein to turn into muscle. You do want to eat complex carbohydrates primarily as your carbohydrate source, and get a balanced diet, but don't protein load and probably don't carbohydrate load either. Dr. Greg Castello, thanks.